Hi, my name is Hannah Myers, and today I'm going to be talking about the novella The Body by Stephen King, which comes from the collection of novellas Different Seasons. The novella is led by the main character, Gordon. He goes to tell the story of him and his three other friends, Teddy, Vern, and Chris, the story of them on an adventure to find a dead body. So the four of them all together, they've all been friends for a while. And throughout this adventure, we find out a lot of different things about the characters and about the boys individually, despite Gordy being the only narrator. And it is interesting to see how all the boys have similar home lives, and they're all about the same age 12. And it's interesting to see the progression of them throughout the novel. So I will get to tell you about that. So as you can see, there's a lot to talk about in this novella and a lot to mark and a lot to put down. But the main thing that King gets us to notice as readers is the home lives of the boys and how the four of them don't necessarily have the best home lives. And although the vast majority of the story focuses on the journey that they go through, we learn a lot about them. And King gets us to notice this through the craft elements of characterization and plot. So obviously King uses plot to help develop these characters and their home lives because he shows what they've done in the past, what they're doing now, the way they interact with each other, the way they feel about their families, and things like that. But the main element of craft that King uses is characterization. And he does this by giving us deep dives into the characters' home lives. And so to show you that, Gordy is very lonely at home. He tends to live in the shadow of his older brother Dennis, who had passed, and tends to be compared to him frequently. Chris comes from a family of violence, and he's expected to be a lot like his brothers. He's expected to be bad. That's just something everyone expects of him. Teddy's father was in the war, and he does have PTSD, and unfortunately, that is something that made him violent, even to the point where he put Teddy's ears on a hot stove top, causing him a hearing impediment. And we don't know as much about Vern, but we do know that he is terrified of his older brother. And again, something tied into family issues. And I think throughout the novel, King shows us through characterization that Vern tends to be pretty anxious. And I think that this comes from the fear of his older brother. So overall, they all face some serious family issues. So as readers, as we go on to go ahead and read through all these pages, mark all these thoughts down, we become very empathetic, especially I know I did, just because you understand the situations that these characters are going through and they feel real. You're put into the story and you see these characters as real people, as real boys, and you can put yourself into that situation easily. You're like, what if this family situation happened to me? What would my life be like? How would it be similar to these boys? And it definitely causes you to feel empathy for them. And that is one of the main reasons why I encourage people to read this. I think it's a great story of giving you empathy. And it also shows how the boys grow up very quickly. Their home lives aren't the best, as I mentioned, and they're forced to grow up very fast. And also on top of that, seeing a dead body, they almost lose a piece of their innocence. They're only 12 years old and they're seeing something so mature this early on. And I think it teaches a good lesson for readers, and it is something that I would definitely recommend. So try it out. The novella The Body from Stephen King's Different Seasons.